Welcome back to the Explainer, focused learners. We've got a truly mind-bending concept to unpack today. I want you to imagine just for a second that the entire universe, everything from the simple beat of a human heart to these massive, sweeping historical arcs, what if it doesn't run on chaos at all? Instead, what if the whole thing operates on just a single, perfectly balanced mathematical law?
Right, so what if the universe literally only has one fundamental equation, but we're somehow experiencing it in two completely different directions? Our sources present this incredibly fascinating idea that wildly different physical processes aren't just random events, they're actually synchronized reads of the exact same mathematical curve. It's kind of like a cosmic double helix of information, intertwining to create the reality we actually experience.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand it, we need to establish this foundational duality, basically two strands of existence. On one side, we have strand A. This is the animal logic. It's all about velocity and action. We're talking about behavior driven by the immediate moment, which often starts in a state of complete ignorance. Then, on the flip side, is strand B, the plant logic. This one is fundamentally about intelligence, steady growth, and accumulation over time. So two wildly different ways of existing.
But here's the really cool part. The master architecture connecting them is called the cubic blueprint, represented by the equation y of t equals ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus 19. And hey, don't worry, we aren't going to do heavy math today. The main takeaway here is that this single mathematical backbone synchronizes both the animal and plant strands along one shared axis. It computes both of their paths simultaneously, and it does it without losing a single drop of information.
This brings us to what the sources call the 1246 dual read. Basically, it means we have two sequences, but only one interpreter. Growth and depletion are tracked together, making absolutely sure that conservation holds. Within this closed thermodynamic loop, there's actually no ultimate loss. None. You might see time-consuming things, like energy obviously being expended, but information is simultaneously being encoded elsewhere. It is just this constant, perfect recomposition of energy.
So, let's break down that first strand a bit more. Strand A, the animal velocity. Intuitively, you can think of this strand as the steering wheel and the speedometer of the whole system. In mathematical terms, it's the derivative. It represents your immediate direction, your force, your behavior. It's quite literally how the system moves, reacts, and drives forward, right in this very moment. The sources actually map this velocity onto three archetypal nodes. Step 1 is Ādam. That's the moment direction is initialized. There's motion, sure, but absolutely no awareness of the overall curve yet. Then we hit step 2, which is Mūsā. This represents the mathematical extremum. It's the exact point where the active force yields and the direction flips. It's the absolute moment of submission. Finally, step 3 is ʿīsā. This is the inflection point where acceleration reverses, representing pure knowledge and a total commitment to ascending. And remember, these aren't just historical markers. They are literal physical, mathematical states of velocity.
Okay, now I want you to completely shift your mindset for strand B, the plant growth, because this isn't about motion or speed or steering at all. This is about a bucket, very slowly filling up over time. It represents the pure mathematical integral, the accumulation of life, memory, and intelligence. While the animal is frantically running around and expending energy, the plant is just silently gathering and building.
And watch how this sequence of growth unfolds. Step 1 is Yaḥyā. The seed is loaded, and that baseline accumulation officially begins. Step 2 is Yunus. This is the rising integral under constraint. Think of it like a sprout fighting to grow in the pitch black, hidden accumulation over time. Finally, step 3 is Ādam. This is the post-inflection extremum, where the accumulated state is fully realized as a harvest after enduring a really heavy trial. The bucket is finally full.
Which naturally raises a seemingly impossible question, right? How do explosive velocity and silent accumulation ever sync up on the exact same curve? I mean, we've got an animal running with immediate blind force and a plant slowly growing through trial and time. How can these two completely different operational vectors possibly be part of the exact same architectural climax?
Well, here is the absolute climax of the entire framework. Think about how these wildly different strands actually hit the exact same milestones from opposite approaches. It's wild. At the start, Ādam's initialized velocity perfectly matches Yaḥyā's baseline potential. At the turning point, the mathematical extremum, Mūsā's submission maps perfectly to Yunus's persistence in the dark. And at the switch, that inflection point, ʿīsā's pure knowledge aligns exactly with Ādam's endurance. Two totally opposite strands, perfectly locked onto the exact same mathematical nodes.
So what does this actually prove? It proves the existence of a beautifully closed system,
Both strands track one single cubic curve. Both cross the exact same inflection axis, and the cycle completes at the next extremum. The end results? The entire system is perfectly conserved. Nothing is ever wasted. Every single action from the animal and every bit of accumulation from the plant is perfectly balanced in a regenerative, thermodynamic loop.
But wait, if it loops, how does the system not just lose its memory when the cycle repeats? Well, that is the magic of the +19 baseline. It's this invariant structural backbone that preserves the state each and every cycle. Despite all those chaotic velocities and dark constraints we talked about, this +19 constant is the ultimate cosmic failsafe. It carries the accumulated potential forward into the very next iteration, making sure that nothing is ever permanently lost.
To truly wrap your head around this, try to hold these two concepts in your mind at once. On one side, you have velocity, the mathematical derivative. It's the steering wheel driving your immediate actions, your choices, and your force. On the other side, accumulation, the mathematical integral. It's the bucket gathering the sum total of all your experiences, intelligence, and growth. It's one single mathematical universe, but we get to experience it through two beautifully synchronized strands.
And that brings us to a final, really profound question for you to consider today. If the universe perfectly conserves every action and every accumulation, meaning every single move you make and every lesson you internalize is mathematically written into this cosmic double helix, which strand are you currently writing? Are you just reacting purely on animal velocity, or are you accumulating plant-like intelligence? Think about that as you go through your day. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.